This lesson shows how to solve quadratic equations by factoring. In a previous lesson, you learned a quadratic equation is a second-degree polynomial equation of the form ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. This is the standard form of a quadratic equation. Here's an example of a quadratic equation. You can't solve this equation with the properties of equality because it has both quadratic and linear terms. This means you can't combine the terms and isolate the variable. However, it is possible to solve the equation by factoring and using zip, the zero product property. The property says if you have a product of two factors, any value that makes one of the factors equal to 0 makes the product equal to 0. For example, the quadratic expression in this equation factors as a product of x plus 3 times x minus 1. Notice if you substitute x equal negative 3, the first factor is equal to 0, which makes the product equal to 0. So x equal negative 3 is a solution to the equation. Also notice if you substitute x equal 1, the second factor is equal to 0, which makes the product equal to 0. So x equal 1 is also a solution to the equation. So x equal negative 3 makes the first factor equal to 0, and x equal 1 makes the second factor equal to 0, which makes the product of the factors equal to 0. So they are solutions of the equation. So to solve a quadratic equation with the zero product property, factor the quadratic expression and find values of the variable that make each of the factors equal to 0. These are the solutions of the equation. And remember to check the solutions. For example, to solve this equation, begin by factoring the quadratic expression. Then set each factor equal to 0 and solve. For the first factor, subtract 1 from both sides for 4x equals negative 1. Then divide both sides by 4 for x equal negative 1 over 4. For the second factor, add 2 to both sides for x equal 2. So x equal negative 1 over 4 makes the first factor equal to 0, and x equal positive 2 makes the second factor equal to 0. Which means the solutions are negative 1 over 4 and positive 2. To check, begin by substituting x equal negative 1 over 4. Negative 1 over 4 squared is positive 1 over 16, and negative 7 times negative 1 over 4 is positive 7 over 4. Then 4 times 1 over 16 is 4 over 16, and 7 over 4 is 28 over 16, and negative 2 is negative 32 over 16. Then 4 and 28 is 32 over 16, and the solution checks. Remember to check both solutions. Substitute x equal 2. 2 squared is 4, and negative 7 times 2 is negative 14. Then 4 times 4 is 16, and negative 14 minus 2 is negative 16. and the second solution checks. Finally, since the solutions of the equation are the same as the x-intercepts of the related function, from the graph of the related function, you can see the solutions check. The intercepts are at -1/4 and +2. This lesson showed how to solve quadratic equations by factoring. And this lesson was brought to you by the Math Fun Academy. Its continuing mission: to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new math and new equations, to boldly go where no math student has gone before.